On this episode of Motorsport recently, we look back at the British Grand Prix and the Iowa Corn 300. This is Triple Crown Racing, let's get into it. So, I don't have time to make a high quality video this week because I'm going on holiday tomorrow and I don't actually have time to edit, so I'm just going to cover the main stuff that's happened. Over the weekend, we were treated to the British Grand Prix. After Austria, Sebastian Vettel led over Lewis Hamilton in the championship by 1 point because Lewis Hamilton broke down in Austria. So the championship fight was well and truly on again because the championship has been swapping around all season long, and it's just been fantastic. The race got underway, and Lewis Hamilton was spun out by Kimi Räikkönen, and that put him right to the back of the field. Now, for sort of the first part of the race, it was Lewis Hamilton fighting his way up through the pack, and he actually did get back up into the podium places. Now this proves basically why Formula 1 is a multi-class championship nowadays, because Hamilton got past everyone without any problems at all. Granted, Lewis Hamilton is a good driver, and that's basically been proven by the fact that he's been able to win 4 world championships, but the performance of that Mercedes is undeniable. So, Lewis Hamilton pretty much made his way through the field. He was up in like 5th by lap 14, and he was up into the podium places by lap 21. The recovery drive from Lewis was unbelievable. However, it was quite an exciting end to the race because a couple of safety cars came out at the end of the race. So, first of all, it was Marcus Ericsson crashing out, and then it was the crash with Romain Grosjean and Carlos Sainz. Marcus Ericsson's crash caused the first safety car, which bunched up the field, but then pretty much on the restart of that safety car, another crash happened, which was Romain Grosjean and Carlos Sainz. The race was going to be a Ferrari-Mercedes showdown with 10 laps to go, and it was awesome. So Valtteri Bottas was leading the pack as this showdown began. Sebastian Vettel made a move. He got past Valtteri Bottas. Valtteri Bottas, I'm pretty sure he ended up in 4th place because Lewis Hamilton and Kimi Räikkönen were able to get past Valtteri. Sebastian Vettel won the race, and he now has taken the lead of the Drivers' Championship. That was quite a race. That's probably been one of the best races the whole year. Baku was probably the best. Baku's, it's been fantastic. But it was actually a showdown. Like, at the end. The race wasn't decided. We didn't know who was going to win. And I like that. I like how it kept us interested right to the very end of the race. So, we had a few casualties from this race. Brendan Hartley, he didn't even really get to start the race. We lost Charles Leclerc. Damn, that sucks being a new member to the Leclerc bandwagon, that he ended up being out of the race. And we also had the crashes, Marcus Ericsson, and the crash with Romain Grosjean and Carlos Sainz. So that was an awesome race. It lived up to the hype. It was brilliant. I thoroughly enjoyed that, and I'm glad Formula 1 was able to put on a show for us. Thank you very much, Formula 1. So, over the weekend, IndyCar went to Iowa for the Iowa Corn 300. Now, for this race, it was a Penske front row, which is not really a surprise. So, we had Will Power on the pole, followed by his teammate, Joseph Newgarden. The race got underway, and the biggest mover of the entire race was James Hinchcliffe, who started in 11th, and he made his way all the way up to the front of the field, and that was just mental. This race, to compare it to anything, was like a Mario Kart race at Baby Park, because most of the field got lapped, and around pretty much almost right from the get-go. Joseph Newgarden lapped the entire field apart from the top 5, which that's mental. And you actually had like the championship leader. He was all the way down in the middle of nowhere, like, and he was getting lapped. That's unbelievable. It was mental. So some people that managed to make their way to the front as well. So Spencer Pigot was challenging for the front, and Takuma Sato also made his way up to the front as well. But then, after going on fire again, Zach Veach, he ended up in the wall, which brought out a yellow, and that allowed James Hinchcliffe to get very close to Joseph Newgarden. By this time, James Hinchcliffe was in second place, and Joseph Newgarden was in first. And James Hinchcliffe had overtaken everyone from 11th and had made his way all the way up to second, which is unbelievable. Race went back to green flag racing. James Hinchcliffe made the pass on Joseph Newgarden and was leading the race. And Joseph Newgarden was extremely surprised about this. He was over the radio asking his team, how is Hinchcliffe in the lead? And they basically just said, yeah, James is in the lead now. He's the guy. So James Hinchcliffe was leading the race, and then Ed Carpenter, he lost the back end of his car, and in doing so, Takuma Sato came round and clipped off a piece from his front wing, because the nose went to the inside of the track, and Takuma Sato came by. He clipped the end plate off the front of his car, and because of the debris, that brought out a full course caution. Now, because they were expecting the race to go back to green flag racing, Joseph Newgarden, Robert Wickens, and a few other people, they came into the pit lane expecting to capitalize off new tires and the race going back to green flag racing. But the organizers decided not to bring the race back to green flag racing, so it was basically just James Hinchcliffe, Spencer Pigot, and Takuma Sato cruising home to get first, second, and third. And James Hinchcliffe, he won that race, and that was very good for him, because he missed out on the Indy 500, and that's really good for him to win that race. So that was quite a race. Thank you very much to IndyCar and James Hinchcliffe for putting on that show. Because Scott Dixon was all the way down in the middle of nowhere, this has sort of made the championship a bit closer. So Joseph Newgarden is in second place now. He's still quite a bit of a way off Scott Dixon, but Scott Dixon has a few more bad results, which I don't think he will, because he's Scott Dixon. Joseph Newgarden could catch up to him and potentially challenge Scott Dixon and maybe even take his second IndyCar championship. But Scott Dixon's a good driver, so for that to happen, it's probably unlikely. I don't think Scott Dixon's going to make too many stupid mistakes. So that's going to do it for this episode of Motorsport Recently. I know we had the IMSA race at Canadian Tire Motorsport Park, but I have no way of watching that, because IMSA haven't posted any highlights. They haven't posted the full race yet, so I can't actually analyze the race and tell you what's happened. So I'll have to let you know what happened in that race in the next episode of Motorsport Recently. Stay tuned for that. Thank you so much for watching, and goodbye.